One of the problems with lighting that I don't ever hear talked about very often is that of sourcey lights. Sourcey is an adjective we use to describe lighting that is coming from an obvious source. This tends to happen when lights are either too bright or too close to the subject. I wasn't careful enough about this in the 6th scene, and this light on the left is way too sourcey. I meant for it to be a fill, but it's too strong and too close to our actress here. It's obvious that there's a huge light source right next to her. Especially in the context of this scene and this world, that feels artificial. Here's a rare example of where you can see sourcey light in a bigger production. In The Talented Mr. Ripley, there's a scene on a stagecoach. We see from Matt Damon's face that there's no light source coming from the left side of the frame. But when we cut to the over-the-shoulder reverse, they apparently pass by a strong light source just outside of frame, probably the lamppost opposite this one. And it's very sourcey on Matt Damon's previously dark right side. Soon they pass beyond the light source and things go back to normal, but while they were next to the light, it felt too close and called attention to itself. To make lights feel less sourcey, you can back them up away from the subject. There's a law of physics called the inverse square law, which light and also sound follow. The law essentially states that if you double the distance between the subject and the light source, the light on the subject will actually be 4 times less. So you don't have to pull lights away too far to make a pretty big difference. Also, you can diffuse light more. I could have put more diffusion on the lights here on the left. And actually, I probably could have just turned off one of these lights and been just fine. And if you're in a really tight space like this, where you don't have much room to adjust the lights better, you can always point the light at something else, like the ceiling, and bounce the light into the scene. We'll talk more about that and diffusion in the next chapter. But the point here, the thing to remember, is that sourcey light is something to generally avoid. It reminds audiences that they're watching a fake filmed story, and is usually not good storytelling.